So we have some more clips here. We have some calls, and Cactus is going to talk about a dream he had. You want to find out what that's about, don't you, John?
I would like to hear that, yes.
All right, let's go to that clip right now.
Question, can you tell us what's going on with Ultimate Warrior? He's now gone, right?
Yes, he was the official line, the official press release from the World Wrestling Federation and PR Director Steve Planamenta is that the Ultimate Warrior was suspended for a minimum of 90 days for unprofessional conduct relating directly to the World Wrestling Federation. What that means is, in my own personal observation of it, and a number of insiders that I talk to all the time, is that the Ultimate Warrior has basically been fired from the WWF, and I believe it stems from him pretty much pushing Vince McMahon against the wall by demanding a Hulk Hogan-like contract, a guaranteed contract for a year. Now, the WWF contracts guarantee the wrestlers $2,250 only, and that's just for TV appearances. But the Warrior wanted a guaranteed contract. I believe the figure banted around was $1 million, and Vince fired him directly after SummerSlam.
Appreciate it. Keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye,
Steve.
Okay, Mike from St. James, you're next.
Yeah, how you doing, John? How you doing, Cactus?
Good,
Okay.
Mike.
Yeah, Cactus, I want to get right to it. Obviously, everybody wants to know who sent you out to attack Sting.
Well, I think I know who sent me out to attack Sting. You might have a couple of ideas, but I think that it would really be, I'm not going to come on here and tell you that your parents deliver your presents for Christmas because I don't know.
I know who it was. Rip Rogers. Rip Rogers did it.
No, I'm going to say that, it wouldn't be right for me to tell you who was sending me out there. I don't know if this is the right time or not, but I would like to say that since this thing has happened, I've had a lot of, I've been very excited, had a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of tossing and turning because I'm very, emotional about this whole thing, and I'm glad to be back on TV, glad to be back in a spot where I think I can do some good, and it's, it's strange. I just wanted to share a strange dream that I had with you. I dreamt that I woke up in the middle of a crowded room, not too crowded, 3 people in the room. Muammar Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, and Sting. And Cactus Jack had a gun with only 2 bullets in it. What would you do? What would you do?
I don't know, Cactus.
I shot Sting twice!
Thanks
for your call.
Thanks for your call, Mike. We appreciate it. Let's go to Tim from Eatontown, New Jersey.
Hey, John.
How you doing?
This is Tim.
Tim John?
Yeah.
Tim, how you doing?
Hey, Tim.
He's
that's right. Tim.
Here's the guy who we could owe credit to for printing up the last and laying out the Cactus Jack Bulletin. Did a great job with it, Tim.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Tim.
That lump you said that was in Sting's throat?
Yes.
I think that was him thanking you for reviving his career. Because he was going nowhere fast with that Nikita call-off.
I think it added new life to I think he's added a little bit new enthusiasm to the last few times I've seen Sting even on television. He has a little bit more of a life in him.
Yeah.
I was thinking that myself. I know that at times when Bruiser Brody came to Japan, he switched from All Japan to New Japan. It added new life to Antonio Inoki, even though Brody, that's not his intention to add new life to anybody. His intention was to beat the tar out of him, but the byproduct was that added new life to him. I think, yes, that I see a sparkle in Sting's eyes and that he's a different man now than when we first tied up a week ago.
No, yeah, definitely. It's like, it seems that, after all this discussion the past, month or so about WCW's going down the toilet, per se, that, things, even the TV show yesterday, it seems to be getting a lot better.
I think so, too. I'm looking at it from perspective. Sure, there's a couple things, that are, I don't know if they're wrong with the company, but if I was in charge, that wouldn't be there. But I see a lot more positives and still some of the greatest wrestlers around. I mean, like I said before, Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko winning the titles has to be seen as a positive. I think that my coming into the group is a positive. Even guys, people are going to boo-hoo Bill Kazmaier because he's not a wrestler, but I know that guys like him are at least trying hard. You'll be seen as the major league of wrestling.
Yeah, well, it's just starting to get exciting, a little bit more exciting to watch, because of you, but because just where it seems to be going, when Ron Simmons dove over the table at the contract signing, it was like, you finally got to excited about, at least Lex Luger, which, him being the champ isn't the greatest thing in the world, but at least you're somewhat interested in, the feud that's developing.
Oh, I think personally that the WCW hit rock bottom when Flair was fired, and I think it took a good month and a half for them to try to regroup, and then bringing in a little fresh talent, and then certainly someone that could, in my opinion, help the entire organization. A guy like Cactus Jack, I think that's certainly going to help. They just got to remain focused on who their audience is and who they're trying to attract. And they could pull themselves out of the dust, and I think they're starting to do that. And hopefully it'll continue.
Yeah, all right, guys.
Okay, Tim, hopefully we'll see you on the bus.
Yeah, if not, I'll be talking to you soon.
Okay,
So long, Tim. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, great calls, and his career was taking off, and it was always a pleasure to have him there, and you always learned something new, and you learned a little bit more into what's inside the mind of Mr. Mick Foley.
There's a lot in that mind.
Oh, sure, there sure is.
There's never been anybody quite like him, and there never will be anybody like him again. Willing to take risks, both verbally and physically, for his entire career. I remember just getting to know him when he was young, and all he wanted to do, all he cared about was putting on the best match he could. Didn't matter what the format was of the company he was working for. He wanted to do the best match he could possibly take part in. And you got to love it.
Yeah, and I saw him in the high school gyms, and I saw him on the pay-per-view platforms, and he put out 1,000%, no matter how many people were there.
Yeah. Now, this next clip, this is only about a minute in length, but he talks about having a taste of Japan, which I found interesting because he had a lot more than a taste of Japan a couple of years later, as you recall.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yeah. Those series of matches he had with Funk in Japan.
Oh, my gosh.
Incredible.
Yeah. I find them riveting even today. I just saw one of those matches for the first time about 6 months ago. And I was like, oh, my God. They were really over the top, those bouts.
Very emotional. Yep.
But let's give you a little mini clip here about Cactus talking about Japan.
I loved it there, and I learned a lot. I think if anyone saw my match with Terry Gordy in Global, which was one of the highlights of my career, if I'd had that match maybe 6 months ago, I wouldn't even be able to compete because I didn't know the style. But now I know that style, and I try to put as much of it into my matches in WCW as I can. I liked it, and sometime I look forward to going back there.
Sometime I look forward to going back there. I think he went back a couple of times.
Oh, I think he went back there more than a couple of times.
Yeah. I mean, he really,
a quick story, and it was against Funk. It was one of those matches where he was set on fire in Japan, and when he got home, his wife Colette asked, "I smell something burning." And it was actually, he goes, well, that's me. he burned up over that. I never forget that because one of the things that I did as far as just being a friend, he was looking to move into a new place with his wife. And in West Babylon, where I lived, very dear friends of ours had a house, and they were looking to rent the main floor. And I told Mick about it and introduced him to the folks there in West Babylon, Vivian, who's still a dear friend today, and her mother and father who own this nice house. And I forget, I showed up when he was there to meet them, to take a look at the place, and he wore a sports jacket and a tie, and he pulled his hair back into kind of a ponytail to be presentable to them. And he was a gentleman, of course, and he got the apartment, and he wound up staying there for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years actually, before he bought his first house. He even used that apartment in a very interesting promo when he was in ECW, talking about the sweatbox he had to live in on Long Island when his kids were like wanting to get a swimming pool or whatever. And so anyway, I mean, that's just kind of a little side note story, but he was just still is such an interesting guy and great friend, and just a legend.